Today's theme is National Youth Day, which is all the talk is going to be for you, and therefore this seems to be the birthday of Swami Vivekanada and the values that he has asked each one of us to inculcate within us. So that would be delivered by none but Padma Shri Prof.Dr.S.Natarajan, who is the owner of Aditya Group. So formally, let me introduce Dr. Natarajan. Respected guest of honor, Padma Shri Professor Natarajan, Management Trustee, Shri Ganeshan, esteemed principal, vice principals, teachers, and my dear students. A very good morning, everyone. We are honored to have Padma Shri Professor Dr. Natarajan with us today. Let me extend a heartfelt welcome to a luminary in the field of ophthalmology, Professor Natarajan, Dr. Natarajan. Dr. Natarajan has done amazing work in eye care. He has held important roles in different eye organizations, like being an advisor and chairman for diabetic retinopathy in Maharashtra Ophthalmological Society, and handling finances for the International Council for Ophthalmology. He has also been in charge of creating awareness about eye health in the All India Ophthalmological Society. In his successful career, Dr. Natarajan has done excellent work for the All India Ophthalmological Society, taking on important roles like immediate past president, and president-elect. He has also shown his commitment to eye care globally by being the president of the Asia Pacific Ophthalmic Trauma Society and Secretary General of the Global Eye Genetic Consortium and Secretary General of the Asian Eye Genetic Consortium. He has achieved major milestones with over 300 publications in national, international journals, 90 plus awards for his contribution in ophthalmology, and an impressive record of 60,000 vitreous and retinal surgeries. His commitment to education is evident. His commitment to education is evident in having trained more than 68 vitreous retinal surgeons worldwide. Dr. Natarajan holds degrees from prestigious institutions like Madras Medical College, University of Madras, Fellowship in Retina and Vitreous Surgery, which is FRVS, from Shankara-Nethralaya, Chennai, Fellow of All India Collegium of Ophthalmology, Savita University, Chennai, FRCS, that is Fellow of Royal College of Physicians and Surgeons, Glasgow, Fellow of Europe in Latino American Society of Ophthalmology, Fellow International Council of Ophthalmology. He has got the State Award for Meritorious Service by the Government of Jammu and Kashmir for creating a record performing 47 vitreous retinal surgeries in just 2.5 days. His numerous accolades include Padma Shri Award, one of the highest civilian honors in India. He has got Guinness World Record for diabetic eye screenings and being a charter inductee in the Retina Hall of Fame. Now without further ado, we would like to express our gratitude and respect through the presentations and honors. I would like to invite our Principal Madam to present and invite Dr. Natarajan with a bouquet. Now may I request our management trustee, Shri Ganeshan, to present Sir with a shawl. Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am, for doing so. Now I request our respected principal, madam, to address the gathering.
There is some very important introduction which got missed out as we are introducing Dr. Natarajan. He is a prodigy and disciple, I would say, more than this, of Dr. Badrinath. And from Shankar Mitralaya. For many of you who knows that even 30-40 years back also, anyone having an eye care issue throughout the country used to visit Chennai to Shankar Mitralaya to get treated. And the man who created it was Dr. Badrinath, and he is a principal
Thank you, sir. Correct.
Thank you and very good morning to all my dear students. The eminent speaker of today, Dr. Natarajan sir, Padma Shri Prof.Dr.S.Natarajan sir, respected member of Board of Trustees Ganeshan sir, all dear colleagues and my dear friends. Today's day is National Youth Day. I know that even you are aware that it is celebrated on account of Shri Vivekananda, Swami Vivekananda's birthday, 12th January. Why it is considered as National Youth Day? All of you remember that in 1893, when he addressed the Congress in Chicago, he started his speech with "My sisters and brothers." I think that is the identity of India, Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, where not only in India but the entire world is a family. Swami Vivekananda was orator, great orator, philosopher, Indian monk, and he is a disciple of mystic saint Ramakrishna. This is our tradition, and what the values that he has taught us, the value of humanity. There are many inspirational quotes that we can learn, and each quote speaks for volumes. A quote which is very related to the modern era, he speaks that try meeting, don't miss meeting yourself, otherwise you'll be missing an intelligent person of the world. Today is the era of selfie, isn't it? You all like taking selfies. I feel the real selfie that you take at the end of the day, try to introspect, try to be better than yesterday, and that will be the real selfie. Vivekananda has to teach lot of how can there be self-enhancement. So he says education is the manifestation of the value which is already present in a man. So everybody is a learned person, but it has to be manifested, and educational institutes like SIWS gives us an opportunity for this manifestation. Thank you. I would also like to share, today is also the birthday of an epitome of ideal motherhood, that is Jiza Mata Bhosle, who is the mother of King Shivaji Maharaj. From all her stories, from the child of Shivaji, everyone must be aware that what kind of value she inculcated in Shivaji, the zeal of valor, humanity, oneness, the societal approach, and how we can bind the society with the humanity itself. And at the same time, yes, there were occasions, and because of whose inspiration and motivation, Shivaji Maharaj could win so many battles. So I pay my tribute to both these personalities of India. Thank you. Over to you, sir. Thank you, our principal ma'am, Dr. Manali Lode, for your inspiring words. I now request Padma Shri Professor Natarajan, Dr. Natarajan, to share his insights and experiences, specifically the principles of Swami Vivekananda, to our dear students.
So, can you hear me, all of you? Microphone is working. So, thank you, Principal Madam, my friend Ramesh here, who is our trustee of the college, and I'm happy. I'm happy that God has given me this place, even though I paid and bought it. But I thank God every day. I do Shastang Namaskar and kiss the ground like the football player. I was a football player, and Swami Vivekananda has mentioned about football and Bhagavad Gita. Anybody knows it? I want to interact here. It is not going to be one. I'm not going to give bhashan here. I know Swami Vivekananda is a great orator, and he was an extempore speaker. So anybody knows what he spoke about Bhagavad Gita and football? Nobody. And today I think one more person from India whose birthday, and that's why he's supposed to have done a lot of things for the pharmaceutical industry. And he's again a South Indian. He is actually the birth anniversary of Yellaprakada Subbarao. As a pioneering figure in pharmacology, he has made indivisible contributions to the medical science during the 20th century. He was born on January 12, 1895. And in which year was Swami Vivekananda born? Pardon? There is no problem there. Commit, no? Which year? 18? Huh? 1863. Correct, 1863. So whoever said should clap, today is 152nd birth anniversary. So he was born in 1895 and he gave the talk on September 11th, 1893 in Chicago. So he has done groundbreaking work in synthesis of folic acid, a vital component of cell division, and this discovery proved instrumental in the development of chemotherapy, particularly in the treatment of cancer. Unfortunately, people don't remember. And he was actually, in the beginning when he worked in India, he was not respected, and he had went to US, and finally, same thing happened to Swami Vivekananda. He was born in Bengal, Tamil Nadu recognized him, he went to Kanyakumari, he got the vision, what he has to do for India. He swam across the rough sea and sat on the Kanyakumari caves, which is part of the, in evolution, if you read in geography, the stone is actually from Africa, and that's where that stone, that's an island, and that's where we have the other great leader, Thiruvalluvar, who wrote 1,300 poems. And Swami Vivekananda actually spoke about, because I was a football captain and I loved football, started as a forward and landed up as a goalkeeper. So I write a lot, I read a lot about Swami Vivekananda all the time, right from my childhood. So he said that first of all, our young men must be strong. Religion will come afterwards. Be strong, my young friends. That's what he said to the young people. That my advice to you, you will be nearer to heaven through football than through the study of Gita. See, that does not mean you should not study the Gita. He said these are the bold words, but I have to say them. For I love you, you will understand the Gita better with your biceps, your muscles with a little stronger mind, and you will understand the mighty genius and the mighty strength of Krishna better with a little of strong blood in you. And that's why I go to gym daily. The reason is you have to have the blood circulating from head to foot, because the oxygen has to be carried, and you need water and oxygen for the brain to work. And that's why Swami Vivekananda had a wonderful memory, and I think he was an excellent, brilliant student, and even the British professors in SIWS College in Calcutta were astonished with his knowledge. So today morning, this is in the Gateway of India. We have a 33 feet tall statue, which is a bronze statue there. Anybody knows why the statue is there in the Gateway of India? Anybody knows? Pardon? Now, why there is a statue in Gateway of India? There is a reason, man. And anybody knows what is entomology? What is entomology? Anybody knows or don't know? Can you put your hand? Nobody? There is a science called etymology, the study of origin of words. So same thing, every time I try to reason out why it is there. Nobody knows why Swami Vivekananda statue is there. There is also Gandhiji's small board is there in the Gateway of India. All of you would have visited the Gateway of India, and also going to Elephanta Caves. And Swami Vivekananda actually left for US for the Chicago lecture from the ship from the Gateway of India. And that's why it's almost 130 years back. And so this is the National Youth Day, thanks to the Government of India. From 1984, they are celebrating National Youth Day on his birthday. And if you Google the National Youth Day, the entire Vivekananda Kendra, Vivekananda the group and Ramakrishna Mutt do a lot of prayers. And today they do various havans in various mutts. So this was in my father's car. Arise, awake, and stop not until you reach the goal. And this was there in my father's car. As a 5-year-old, I used to read without knowing the meaning. But it is registered so much. It is part of me, every part of my body, mind, and soul. So he said, strength is life, and weakness is death, and expansion is life, contraction is death, and love is life, hatred is death. And he also talked about service and sacrifice. Do it only as a worship, the poor and the miserable for our salvation, so that we may serve the Lord, coming in the shape of the diseased, coming in the shape of lunatic, the leper, and the sinner. And I think this is the greatest service, he said. Going to the temple, going to the church, mosque, he said, it's okay. But he said, I don't remember where I read. He mentioned that one of the lowest form of prayer is going to the temple, church, or mosque. But he says, serve the people who need them. And one of the person who was young Swamiji was meditating, went to Swamiji and asked him, Swamiji, I'm not able to meditate properly. What should I do? So he asked, who taught you? He said, how do you do your meditation? He says, I close the door, I close the eyes and sit in a quiet place in a dark room and I try to meditate. He said, I'm not able to meditate. I can't think. He says, no, open the doors, open the window, go out, serve the people who need your service, and that is meditation, he said. And that's what I am doing. And that's what is the karma yogi. So the only God to worship is the human soul in the human body. Of course, all the animals are temples too, but man is the highest, the Taj Mahal of temples. If I cannot worship in that, no other temple will be of any advantage. And that's what, this is Swamiji's own word. The only thing, I think all of us waste time in cracking jokes, or even I do that, wasting time in so many things. And I don't know how, from the age of 18, whatever he spoke is a gospel truth, and I think it's become a book. And so much volumes of books have been written on him. And when you give a morsel of food to a dog, you worship the dog as God. He is all and all. And it is there in our Aham Brahmasmi. And I should see the God in the poor, and it is for my salvation that I go and worship them. And we may serve the Lords, coming in the shape of the distressed, coming in the shape of the lunatic, the leper, the sinner. And the highest manifestation of strength is to keep ourselves calm and on our own feet. And that I still am yet to learn. And after so much austerity, I have understood this as the real truth. God is present in every jiva. There is no other God besides that. Who serves jiva serves God indeed. So I think whether you go to temple or not. I think you have to serve people, and that's what I think finally I want to convey to all of you. So Madam mentioned about his speech in Chicago. I go to that hall. Actually, it is there in the Chicago, and now it's in the Art Museum. And every year I go, I stand like Swami Vivekananda and come, and that hall is locked now. But you should appreciate the Americans. They are maintaining the hall as though you can use it for function. And I found out that we can book the hall and do some functions there. And I think he started, as Madam said, Sisters and Brothers of America. And that's what, when hundreds rose to their feet with the deafening shouts of applause, and that's what happened. And that's the Parliament of Religions. And he said, if there's ever to be a universal religion, it must be one which will have no location in place or time, which will be infinite, like the God it will preach, and whose sun will shine upon the followers of Krishna and Christ, on saint and sinners alike, which will not be Brahminic or Buddhistic, Christian or Mohammedan, but the sum total of all these, and still have the infinite space for development, which in its Catholicity will find a place for every human being, from the lowest rolling savage, not far removed from the brute, to the highest man, towering by the virtue of his head and heart almost above humanity. It be a religion which will have no place for persecution or intolerance in its polity, which will recognize divinity in every man and woman, and whose whole scope, whose whole force will be centered in aiding humanity to realize its own true divine nature. Offer such a religion, and all the nations will follow you. The Christian is not to become a Hindu or a Buddhist, nor a Hindu or a Buddhist to become a Christian, but each must assimilate the spirit of others and yet preserve his individuality and grow according to his own law of growth. And I think what a great man he was, and he meant, I hope this Israelis and Hamas have learned that, or all what's happening in Kashmir or in Putin and Ukraine. And I think this is the best thing I like about Swami Vivekananda. Is there this slide? So he said, die you must, but have a great ideal to die for. And it's better to die with a great ideal in life. So in case you don't have an aim or a goal in life till now, and everybody will say, I finished +2, or I'll finish degree, or I'll finish PG, or I'll finish postgraduate, then or a PhD, and then decide. I think you should have a goal. And I'm happy, at the age of 5, I decided to be an eye doctor when I was just entering the first standard, because I met one V.G. Panirdas, who runs that Golden Beach, and we have a VGB shop in I think San. But whether you heard of him, I don't know. But he started the first beach resort in India, in Mahabalipuram. And at that time it was only a cashew forest. That was almost in 1965. And he told me, Thambi, if you want to do something great in life, convert your dream into a prayer. So my prayer was in Tamil, and the prayer was, Naan or Ulaga Pugalpetta Nalla Kanmarthuvara vara vendum. That means I wanted to be an internationally renowned eye doctor. It is not automatic. My father and grandfather were eye doctors, and they never traveled abroad, but I have seen foreigners coming to our house to meet my father, or go to the meeting. But somehow I don't know why I had that in the mind, and I became international, and I'm happy. I'm just opposite to you. So you have to, you should have some goal. And I wanted a big eye hospital in Chennai, that is Madras that time. It happened in Major Parmeshwaran Road. And what unto death, I am with you. And when I am gone, my spirit will work with you. This is what he told his followers. And this life comes and goes. Wealth, fame, enjoyments are only of a few days. It is better, far better to die on the field of duty, preaching the truth, than to die like a worldly worm in advance, he said. I don't know how many of you read the man who ran the Jet Airways. He is now in jail. He is pleading for meeting his wife or going to a hospital, because he wants to go to private hospital instead of go to JJ, Mr. Naresh Goyal. What's the point in living like that? You headed a fantastic airline and then had money laundering, and many people. We had again the other man, Rakesh Jhunjhunwala, had 45,000 crore he left behind, and he died of diabetes. So I have taken a mission in life that everybody should be screened for diabetes from the age of 35, and screen the eyes for them for free if they want. and make sure everybody lives long and lives happily and also have good vision. And that means to see and have a vision for India. And that's what Swami Vivekananda said, and I hope you can realize that all power is within you and you can do anything and everything. And this is what I think you have to know. And I also came, even though my father and grandfather were eye doctors, they didn't give me any pocket money. We went to the school by regular bus, by train, and then sometime I think my teacher, Dr. Natarajan, or Ramesh mentioned, everything I am because of Mata Pita, Guru, Mitra Deva. So every day I have planted 3 trees here. There is a laburnum tree. It's called Bahukula in Hindi or Marathi. And anybody knows why the name Baikula came? Anybody from Baikula here? Nobody? All of you know where is Baikula, no? Pardon? Hey, one person tell now. Huh? Pardon? Nice, I can't hear yet. Hey, one person, can you stand up and tell what are you saying? Now, what you are saying? Baikula what? Now, anybody knows the meaning why Baikula came? No, yes or no? Okay, there's a tree, Bahukula tree, you have heard of? Laburnum tree. It is there in 5 gardens. 1 tree is there, or 2 trees are there in the Ramtana, where it will have a yellow lantern-like flower. In Malayalis use it as for the what is that? Vishu. Onam. So it's like a golden flower. So I have planted the 3 trees. So Bahukula trees a lot of trees were there in Baikula, and the British could not pronounce Bahukula, they called it Baikula. And there is a Laburnum street, which is where our Mani Bhavan is there, and where once upon a time there were laburnum trees. Now there is no laburnum tree in that street. And Swami Vivekananda and concentration, this is what this one I keep carrying daily. And Swami Vivekananda said, to me the very essence of education is concentration of mind, not the collecting of facts. If I had to do my education over again and I had any voice in the matter, I would not study facts at all. And he said, I would develop the power of concentration and detachment. And it's a great lesson. I read it again and again. And then with a perfect instrument, I could collect facts at will. And the instrument, what he says, is the mind, the brain. So he says, concentration is the essence of all knowledge. Nothing can be done without it. And 90% of thought force is wasted by the ordinary human being. That's what all of us are doing, and I also was doing. And therefore, he is constantly committing blunders. And the trained man or mind never makes a mistake, and that's what he said. And this is another thing which I follow. Take up one idea, make that one idea our life, think of it, dream of it, live on that idea. Let the brain, muscles, nerves, every part of your body be full of that idea, and just leave every other idea alone. And this is the way to success, and this is the way great spiritual giants are produced. Others are mere talking machines. So I think all of you can do this, and I decided to only one idea I have, and that one idea is to remove blindness from India. And it is actually today it's impossible, because we have a highest number of preventable blindness in the world in India, and about 15 million of them. And there are about a few million with corneal blindness, inherited retinal degeneration, and every year cataracts coming. And on top of that, there are 100 million diabetics. Among them, 25% of them may have eye problem, and then they may also, few of them can go blind, and a few of them will be in thousands or lakhs. So that's what we have to prevent. But one day I want to do it, and India should be the leader. And also he says, success in life mostly depends on the power of concentration. Clear thinking and intellectual understanding are very easy for a concentrated mind. And Arjuna could shoot at the target with his tremendous power of concentration. So if you ask Arjuna, he could see only that eye of the thing and nothing else. So that's how the focus should be. And when Swami Vivekananda went with his brother Swamiji to a library in Meerut near Delhi, every day he was taking such a big volume of book, and one Swamiji was taking and giving it to Swami Vivekananda, and Third or fourth day, the librarian asked, hey, come on Swamiji, how can anybody read one full such a 1,000 pages book in one day, and you're returning daily and taking one new book? He said, sir, it's not for me, it's for my brother Swamiji. He said, who's that Swamiji? Bring him. And that was Swami Vivekanada. He called him, and the librarian said, come on Swamiji, how can you read one full book in a day? Maybe you are just keeping it, reading few. No, he said, I read everything. He said, then he said, open the book and ask me question. He had a photographic memory. He could tell exactly what he read. So that's amazing concentration he had, like that movie Robert, it's like turning the pages, but he was so good that he could concentrate and learn. So I think that power of concentration he says to develop, which is possible. That means not to waste time in watching movie or everything, but all of us waste time in WhatsApp, mobile. And three powers within you: concentration, decision, unselfishness, and which is a great thing to learn. Here is the difference between man and the animals. Man has the greatest power of concentration. The difference in that power of concentration also constitutes the difference between man, and that's what he's comparing between people. And compare the lowest with the highest man. The difference is the degree of concentration. This is the only difference, he said. Otherwise, people compare wealth, money, degrees. No, he says only you have to compare the concentration. The person who concentrates is the most educated. The person who concentrates less is the least educated. And I think the rest of the thing doesn't make. In the study of religion, the control of the mind is absolute necessary. We have to turn the mind back upon itself in this study. And self-control, by being pleasant always and smiling, it takes you nearer to God and nearer than any prayer. And be unattached, let things work, let brain centers work incessantly, but let not a ripple conquer the mind. Work as if you were a stranger in this land, a sojourner. Work incessantly, but do not blind yourself. Bondage is terrible. And always first learn to be a servant, and then you will be fit to be master. So that's what I said, no? He said it is a very difficult task to take on the role of a leader. One must be a servant of servants and must accommodate 1,000 minds. There must not be a shade of jealousy or selfishness, then you are a leader. So this is the amazing part which Swami Vivekananda said. And they alone live, this was the one which our Prime Minister read, and he also follows Swami Vivekananda. 2014 election, he used this slogan, they alone live who live for others. And there is a second line which a lot of people don't like it. The second line is, you can see his English, I mean in two couplets he conveys a lot of meaning. They alone, and the comma makes the difference. So that's why I am happy with my English teacher who taught me how to read a prose reading and how to connect with the reference to the context. So they alone live who live for others. And the second line is rest are equivalent to death. There is a Tirukural, I think 224, which says that if you are going to work for yourself or your family, if you are selfish, he says not worth living, and it is equal to a dead body walking. So he says if you want to live, you work for others. So that's what I am doing, and I live alone, but I work for others. I know I get money, but that's okay, I give it back, and I think you work for others, you will enjoy more. You have to grow from the inside out. None can teach you, none can make you spiritual. There is no other teacher but your own soul. So you have to realize what you want to do, you have to realize God, you have to realize to be spiritual. And whatever you do, think well on it. All your actions will be magnified, transformed, defeated by the very power of the thought. If matter is powerful, thought is omnipotent. Bring this thought to bear upon your life. How many of you read the book Wings of Fire on Dr. Abdul Kalam? Madam has read. Very good. So in that page number 5, he written that he was actually going for anybody knows what Dr. Abdul Kalam wanted when he was in the college or in the school? Anybody knows? Correct. He wanted to be a pilot. He studied in Rameshwaram. He was always, he was a great friend. So many times he has come to the same road. And I think when he came, the entire, I still have that video with so many white cars coming with him. And he has come several times to our hospital as the President of India. And so when he was in school, he saw the seagulls flying and he thought he should fly. So he studied in the Madras Institute of Technology in Krompet. Then he went for the interview in Delhi. And he was rejected as a pilot in Indian Air Force. You know why? Anybody knows why? Nobody knows. A very bad man. I think Abdul Kalam, everybody should know. I know you should know about Swami Vivekananda also. But Dr. Abdul Kalam was from an ordinary family from Rameshwaram. 6 siblings were illiterate. His parents were illiterate, and they had and then he was the only one who studied. He was selling or distributing newspapers and earned little money. And he used to walk with his father's friend, who was a teacher, Mr. Iyer, who was also another priest in the Rameshwaran temple. He mentioned that when he went around the temple, he got electrified because of Lord Shiva. And he has read Bhagavad Gita and Quran well. So I think because of that, at least you should know Dr. Kalam. And I think it's a shame that you don't know about Dr. Kalam. A very bad man. I think Abdul Kalam, everybody should know. I know you should know about Swami Vivekananda also. But Dr. Abdul Kalam was from an ordinary family from Rameshwaram. 6 siblings were illiterate. His parents were illiterate, and they had and then he was the only one who studied. He was selling or distributing newspapers and earned little money. And he used to walk with his father's friend, who was a teacher, Mr. Iyer, who was also another priest in the Rameshwaran temple. He mentioned that when he went around the temple, he got electrified because of Lord Shiva. And he has read Bhagavad Gita and Quran well. So I think because of that, at least you should know Dr. Kalam. And I think it's a shame that you don't know about Dr. Kalam. And I hope on National Youth Day you will energize yourself to learn about all of them. And I read a lot of biography. Anybody knows about Sony? The Sony TV, Sony. No, what do you know about him? The man, the Mr. Sony from Japan. So Sony took over the company at the age of 14, and he made it big in the early 80s, I think. And because suddenly the business is, I think the father died, and the business he had to take over. So there's a program called That's Incredible in America, where they talk about how a 9-year-old became a CEO of a company. And so I think there are a lot of young people in the world and in India who are great, and one of them was Dr. Kalam. So he goes to Swami Sivananda in Rishikesh, and he tells that about the same thing, where Swami Sivananda was a doctor from a place where he was born in Pathamadai near Tirunelveli, near Kanyakumari again, and Rameshwaram also very near, where he became a doctor and worked in the rubber factory in Malaysia. Then he got fed up at the age of 24. He decided to become a monk. So he came to Madras, Tirunelveli, then he went to Varanasi to look for a guru. He didn't get. Finally, he got a guru in Rishikesh. So the ashram in Sivananda ashram in Rishikesh, right from Ganges to the top of the hill, is an amazing place where all the priests from both south go to Rishi over that Badrinath and Kedarnath. They stay there, they have their prayers, and then only go up, because in the winter they have to come back, and because of to avoid natural calamities, they did that. So if Swami Sivananda told Dr. Kalam that if you are rejected because of the height, he was rejected. He says, don't get dejected. If your desire is truthful, it will go to cosmic, it will be blessed by the God, and come back next morning like the sunrise and sunset. It will happen. Whatever you want, it will get magnified. That's what is given here. Whatever you want, you have to be pure. And same thing Paul Coelho said. When you desire something, the entire universe will conspire to get it, which is there in the movie Om Shanti Om, where Shah Rukh Khan it's a fiction where in the second life he does what he wants. So it's possible. So that's what is called law of attraction, law of visualization, and law of manifestation. That's what I did. I wanted to be an internationally renowned eye doctor. I wanted a big eye hospital. Everything has happened. Nothing is automatic. You have to work hard. So I removed the word hard work. You have to work with love and passion. So you have to forget yourself by working. And I used to work from morning 7 till night 1, and again from morning 7. But nowadays people want to go home in time, which is no use. Infinite patience, infinite purity, and infinite perseverance are the secret of success. Is a good cause. I have 100 ideas, only 1 or 2 get through. So we have my research team in the last row. We are working with Case Western University in Cleveland, where we are trying to find where some patients of diabetes, particularly in Dharavi and many slums in Mumbai, do not get retinopathy, or maybe they get retinopathy but the vision is not affected. And some affluent people with retinopathy have a severe eye problem and go blind. So we want to know what is that which is protecting. That's called biomarker, and we are working for last. I am working with her from 2015, and our team is working with for 4 years and still struggling, and it may take another 10 years. Hope to get Nobel Prize one day, where we may get something to remove blindness from the diabetic patients. So at the I think the one which I got a lot of things on Swami Vivekananda. The reason I keep reading is I think he's also got a lot of booklets, and all these books are very cheap. It's only 35 rupees from this is from Advaita Ashrama, where he's saying personality development. And I think there are so many things he's written. The message of Vivekananda speaks to you. So all these are available, the power of mind. So I think he talks about the mind. Everything is in the mind. Whatever you want, you can get it. And I think you can do anything he says. And then how to be a leader. I think he had everything what you have to. And a short life of Vivekananda. So many things are given, and I have book. This is what I do from Dr. Karan. Everybody can do what you want. The reason is I was also an ordinary student like all of you, and going in the bus, train, cutting classes, enjoying whatever with the friends, and getting beaten up my father for cutting class. I still remember I cut class and my school teacher called my father, and as soon as I was entering, he came one slap. But I think, and unfortunately, that time I hated it. But I'm happy I didn't hate him later in life. I'm thankful to my father and mother for shaping me. So if somebody is scolding you, take it as they are part of your what do you call training yourself as a good man. So Dr. Badrinath, my mentor, I want to tell which doctor I'm here because of whatever I am today is because of my teacher. So I went. Dr. Badrinath died on November 21st. November 27th, I was in Belur Math. I go to Belur Math often. Belur Math is the place where Swami Vivekananda lived, and also Swami Vivekananda finally died there in 1902 at the age of 39. But in 1893, he gave the lecture. He became world famous after that. And even there was politics. When Ramakrishna wrote in his own hand that Narendra, that is Swami Vivekananda, will become the next disciple of me who will run his teaching. And in 1897, two of his American followers donated 7 lakhs. He bought that land in Howrah, and the other side of the Ganges, where his Guru Ramakrishna lived in Kasipur. So he wanted to have a land exactly opposite in the Belur Math, and then he bought a small place and he lived there and made an old Ramakrishna temple that time. So he wrote that how a Ramakrishna Math should be and how a Ramakrishna mission should be. Ramakrishna Math is for monks, where you shave your head and you give up your normal life and be a sadhu. And 3 years vigorous training. He himself has mentioned, first 3 months, a lot of people give up because it's so tough. And then at the end of 3 years, if some Padmanabhan becomes a Swami or some other name, the Padmanabhan is actually, if FIR is filed, that is no more, and Swami or Prabhupada will be given a new passport and a new ID card and a new